went to senior center to deliver pizza, left with a new mom. I'm a pizza delivery guy and was winding down for a much needed early close on Mother's Day Sunday. I'm one of the only people on staff who didn't have family plans that day. My family situation is what you might call complicated. So worked all morning while short-staffed and was pretty beat. It was especially emotionally hammering to deliver so many pizzas to happy families visiting or hosting their moms. I was ready to go home and get drunk and forget about the whole stupid holiday. So I get a late call just a few minutes before we closed and decided to take it because money is money, and it was a pretty big order, 6 pies. So I loaded up and realized about 3/4 of the way to the destination that the address was for the local senior center. They used to order all the time, tip really well, and make really sweet conversation before the pandemic. So I was psyched to see they were safe and steady enough to order pizzas again. I snuck them a side of breadsticks from a douchebag who never tips and always harassed our female drivers that I was dropping off along the way. By the time he had called to complain, we would be closed. Suck on that. But not on your breadsticks. Anyways, I digress. I got there and was glad to finish off what had been an overall really shitty day with a pleasant trip to the senior center and carried the food to the front desk. The receptionist offered to carry the pizzas back, but she looked thrilled enough to be a senior center resident herself, so I said I was happy to get them where they were going. She COVID checked me and gave me a new mask. Not sure what was wrong with mine, but whatever. And I found my way to some event room where they had ordered the pizzas. And it was a total gut punch. Literally just a room full of sons and daughters visiting their mothers and having some kind of festive party. My good mood went away real quick and I dropped the pizzas on the table and shoveled out. But I realized that while they prepaid for the pizzas over the phone with a credit card, they hadn't tipped. So no matter how bitter I was, I had to make in-person contact with whoever had ordered the pizzas, or I had basically just wasted half an hour. I went around the room asking for Margaret, the name on the order, and eventually someone put me in front of her. Our shop doesn't have a uniform or anything, so I started to explain, "Hey, Margaret, right? You ordered." And she was really frazzled, I guess running the event, so she cut me off and was like, "Oh good, you are here. We were starting to wonder. I don't think Bonnie has been matched with anyone yet. Wait right here." I tried to cut in and explain I had just delivered the pizzas and she'd mistake me for someone else, but it went right over her head. She pushed an old woman over in a wheelchair and said, practically shouting, "Bonnie, this young man is here just for you." Before I could try my explanation again, Bonnie replied, "He is? Is he? Well, full disclosure, son, don't get too attached, cause Jesus has my heart." Margaret, the one who had ordered the pizza, or at least the name we had on it, whispered to me, "She's a real live wire. Have fun." And then Margaret and my tip were in the wind. Bonnie looked up at me and goes, "You like bridge? I hope you brought your checkbook," and started wheeling away to a table. I followed her, thinking I'd better not lose track of her until I could return her to Margaret. I spotted a woman with an ID badge who looked like she knew what she was doing and explained that I was the pizza delivery guy, but someone had left me with this old woman in my charge. I guess my explanation wasn't clear enough because I said something like, "Hey, I was actually delivering some pizzas up here." And the girl says, "You brought pizza? Oh, that's so nice. I'll make sure you are compensated." So at first I thought, great, all resolved now. But no, she gave me a wad of cash and this organizer disappeared, leaving me with Bonnie and her deck of cards. I kept looking for Margaret to return this lady to, but also did kind of enjoy making conversation with her and knew no other deliveries would be coming in since we had closed on my drive over. I actually did like listening to Bonnie talk about the YouTube conspiracies she wholeheartedly believes and the spat she was having with the arts and crafts chaperone and so on. She even gave me a recipe. but I was worried that she had dementia and thought I was a family member, or that she was expecting a particular visitor, and at any moment a guy would storm in and say, "What are you doing with my aunts?" or something. So finally, I saw the second organizer again, the one who had given me the cash. I figured Margaret may never return, so I shouldn't wait for her, and I pulled the organizer aside and said, "Look, there's been a mix-up. I don't really know this woman." The organizer seemed distracted. She was doing several things at once, and she very casually said, "Oh, there is no mix-up. The pairings were totally random. You weren't expected to have much in common. You get to know her, don't overthink it," and recited back into the crowd while I was still saying, "No, I'm just delivering pizza." At this point, I seriously considered leaving because it wasn't my fault that these people were unorganized, but Bonnie was waiting for me with this huge grin on her face to play more cards, and it didn't look like there was any real relatives coming for her, so I figured I would stick it out for a few more games. I was eventually able to pick up in context from eavesdropping on other pairs that this was not a mother-child extravaganza. It was a volunteer event for women living at a senior home without kids or whose kids couldn't visit them. That was a huge relief because I would have felt really terrible if she was a dementia patient who thought her son had come. Especially because I was kind of enjoying being mothered by her, for lack of a better term. It felt really good to have someone asking what I was doing at work and saying they were proud of me for things that weren't actually a big deal. She proudly bragged to everyone we passed on our courtyard walk about this silly little Employee of the Week award I just won. Basically, title only, you get your photo on the wall, but everyone gets it at some point and usually more than once. But she made it feel really important. And I really secretly loved how she got outraged over minor transgressions on my behalf. Like, I told her how my landlord is sticking it to me on repairs, and she was like, "He's quite the ripe hair in the tuna," with such sincere gusto. She said she knew a guy who could tune him up for me, and I don't think she was talking about repairs, but I didn't follow up. Every time I tried to extricate myself, she would have another activity she would want to do. Once we finished cards, she wanted to do arts and crafts. Once we did that, she wanted me to push her around the courtyard. Once we did that, she was famished from the walk, even though all she did was sit in her wheelchair and wanted pizza. And I would fed her 2 slices before an orderly appeared and angrily informed me she was not supposed to eat pizza. I don't know how she then ended up with a 3rd slice, but I seriously did not give it to her. Finally, the party was winding down and she wanted me to hang out and watch a game show with her. About 30 seconds into the show, she was asleep. I left her a coupon, even though I guess she isn't supposed to eat pizza, and headed home. It was kind of nice to spend Mother's Day doing Mother's Day type stuff. Really nice, actually. At this point in my life and career, if you want to call it that, I can have no wholly good memories that involve pizza, but this was pretty close. So happy Mother's Day to those who celebrated, and happy Russian Victory Day to those who didn't. So that's the story for today's video. If you enjoyed it, a thumbs up would be highly appreciated, and I will see you in the next one.